You can carry a title your entire life and lose who you are in a single morning, not in a scandal, not in court, but on a piece of paper, with a pen stroke. Suddenly you're a princess, but without a country, without origin, without place. The press later calls her the Princess of Nowhere. Her name, Marie Louise, granddaughter of Queen Victoria, married into a German princely house, rejected, annulled, erased, and then something happens that no one expects. She becomes one of the most beloved royals of her time. Royal stories are often told as duty and glamour, but this is a different story. How a woman nearly disappears in a system, first in a marriage, then in a title question, and how she builds a second life from exactly that. The question is, how does a granddaughter of Queen Victoria become the Princess of Nowhere? And why does exactly that make her so visible in the end? August 12, 1872, England. Marie Louise is born as the daughter of Princess Helena, Queen Victoria's third daughter. She grows up close to court. Lessons, languages, history, etiquette, a childhood in palaces, but with sharp edges. Queen Victoria is not a warm grandmother. She evaluates, she judges, and her judgments are harsh. There are recorded remarks about the child, not kind ones. In this world, people become objects early, pawns. But Marie Louise develops something dangerous in palaces: curiosity. She reads, she wants to travel, she wants to see the world herself, not just from reports. She wants more than what's intended for her. 1890, Berlin. At a wedding, Marie Louise meets Prince Aribert of Anhalt. Cavalry officer, handsome, charming. He looks like the solution the system offers. A few weeks later, engagement. Queen Victoria approves. This isn't a blessing, it's a political stamp of approval. July 6, 1891. They marry at Windsor. Marie Louise is 18 years old. She moves to Germany, to Dessau, and there begins the life that will nearly destroy her. Because in Germany, no home awaits. Protocol awaits. Who greets whom? At which moment? With which words? Every mistake is noted, every deviation commented on. She's not a wife, she's an unwelcome guest. The marriage becomes torture. Marie Louise feels isolated, unwanted, like a burden. She gets sick, bronchitis, pneumonia. She gets thinner and thinner. Her body reacts when a life has no air left. But the worst thing isn't the illness. The worst thing is the silence. Because around 1900, the break comes. Later reports suggest that Aribert had intimate relationships with men. Whether that's true or not, in a monarchy, even the suspicion is explosive. Not because of morality, because of control. Marie Louise flees. She leaves Germany, travels incognito, sometimes under a false name. And then the news reaches her grandmother. Queen Victoria arranges her return to England. A door that springs open. Marie Louise returns. But back in England, no peace awaits. December 1900, Aribert's father declares the marriage dissolved, annulled, null and void, as if it never existed. And now it gets ugly. Because when a system can't show a scandal, it needs a replacement narrative. Rumors circulate. Claims? She drinks. She's unstable. She's impossible. Does any of it matter? No. The purpose is clear. Not he should be damaged. She should be damaged. Marie Louise stands at the edge. The marriage is over. But the social damage remains. In later statements, she says she still feels inwardly bound to her vows. She never remarries. 1914, World War I breaks out. Marie-Louise works in hospitals, organizes aid. She stands in the middle of chaos, and while she works, the monarchy itself changes. Anti-German sentiment grows. 1917, King George V takes a radical step. He drops the German dynastic name. The family becomes Windsor, and he bans German titles at the British court. For many, there's a replacement. New peerages, new names. Not for Marie-Louise. 1917, a pen stroke. Marie-Louise relinquishes the territorial additions to her title. She's still Her Highness Princess Marie-Louise, but of Schleswig-Holstein, deleted. She's a princess, but without a from where. And so the nickname is born Princess of Nowhere. One might expect her to disappear after that, to become quiet, invisible, forgotten. But she does the opposite. She becomes the royal you don't just see when she waves, but when it smells like disinfectant, when people are afraid, when the country burns. She no longer has a title that anchors her, so she anchors herself in something else. Service, presence, closeness. And suddenly nowhere isn't her end, but the first time she can decide for herself who she is. Marie-Louise dedicates herself for decades, hospitals, welfare, organizations. She visits places royals rarely visit, working-class worlds, everyday life, people without an audience. She becomes more tangible than many more prominent royals. In the 1950s, she publishes her memoirs, My Memories of 6 Reigns, 6 monarchs, wars, upheavals, an entire century. December 8, 1956. Marie-Louise dies in London. She is one of the last living granddaughters of Queen Victoria, a woman who didn't overthrow the monarchy, but held up a mirror to it. Perhaps that's the real irony. She became Princess of Nowhere because a system couldn't categorize her. And that's exactly why she had to decide for herself what she stands for. In the end, she was more visible than most who had a place.